goodness.
Good morning, everyone. And it is August 5th, 2022, and it is a Friday.
Friday. It's a Friday.
It's Friday.
The Friday Post-it is out. Yes, it's a Friday.
Okay.
It's a garbage day. No, it's recycling day. Today is recycling day.
So
yeah,
like we can take out some trash if you want.
No, all right, it really is recycling day.
We'll be right back after this intro.
That'll wake you up. That'll wake anybody up.
That's the goal.
Yeah, because I noticed that everything was at zero until we started hitting all that music, and then now everybody's showing up. Right? So hello everybody, welcome to another edition of your favorite show, TR2 TV.
Completely coincidental.
I really love that. I love the way that came out. I swear. So hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the vlogs. It's like it's another Friday. It's another trying to get the office back down to 80 degrees. It's like I hate this weather. But yes, so everyone is slowly trickling in right now. I know that Mike Jimmy is at a convention this weekend. He's Will. He's at a convention this weekend, so he will not be joining us in the chat. It's like I was just really excited because it's like he's at a convention where they're at a legit castle.
I know, right?
And it's like, and the unfortunate thing though is that he was supposed to have copies of Tall Tales there, but he won't get them back from the printer until Monday. But luckily, Europe is full of castles, so maybe I really will, get a picture once of Tall Tales being sold in a legit castle. But before we go on with that, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the Coming to a Castle in Europe near you. I am known for the funny animal fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which, yes, I will be, oh my God, this Saturday, I will be finally beginning to fulfill this campaign. The last of our stretch goals are finally coming and they're going to deliver on Saturday. We're going to pick up some last minute supplies, and then hopefully by Sunday we can start getting these packages out and getting all your books out to you so that I can get my table completely cleared off for our next campaign, my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, Volume 1, collecting issues 1 through 4. It's in pre-launch right now. Hit the link in the show notes below. Hit the notify me button so you get notified when the campaign goes live on August 22nd. There's a lot of first day goodies. I actually showed them on the stream if you missed it on the previous episode. Those things go really fast. So if you want to be the first ones to get like a nice goodie bag added to your order at no additional cost, sign up for the pre-launch and keep an eye on the campaign when it launches on August 22nd. So, yeah, in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which simulcasts through the Rage It 2 network. So make sure you hit all those subscribe buttons, all those notification bell buttons, so that you get notified whenever any of our videos go live. Take it away, Nita.
My name is Nita Lanning. I am a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I am the blue-eyed savage and mouth of the South. I am the executive producer of the Ragin 2 broadcast network.
And look at that brand new office that you have there. Look at that. I mean, that came out a lot better than I was. Because, of course, I was seeing it in its ugly face.
Oh, yeah.
And really, it's like night and day. I mean,
it's still not done. I'm gonna do some underlighting underneath the top shelf.
Right,
I'm gonna have like the
really
rainbow LED strips.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get pink across here to break it up a little bit. And
yeah, no, but it's
sexy.
looking really good. Yeah. So but it feels fresh, right? At least like it feels new. Does it feel more organized, or were you still have?
No, because the disorganization, the part that needs to be organized, is what you're not seeing.
Right. Okay.
Which I'm getting there. Getting there. But this was important for filming, so
right. Yeah.
That had to be done
is
first.
Is that kind of done, or you still got stuff to do with it, or
I still have stuff to do.
Right.
I still have a good bit to do to it, but it's functional.
Right.
The shelves are up.
Right. I mean,
the manga has support.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Comics are supported.
Instead of being the support for the shelves, now the shelves can actually.
Yeah, they're actually on shelves. They're not these shelves anymore. So like, I can like grab a book now and be like, hey, check out Full Metal Alchemist.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Right. Exactly. No, that's probably the most convenient thing.
Whereas before the shelves were resting on the books.
Right. Yeah. So were you able to fit everything back into?
Some.
Oh, okay. So you have more room now?
I have 2 shelves that are empty on the bottom on each side, and a
very
nice little
nice
section back here that's still gapped.
Right.
Not getting it.
And HR is still there somewhere?
No, HR is in the bedroom until I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true, right?
She'll probably go down here somewhere when I'm finished.
Right. Yeah. She doesn't need to be disturbed right now. But it's looking really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna look really hype with the lighting.
And I'll show y'all another time. For House of Bob, I got a black light.
Ooh! Oh, so that pink is gonna really glow.
Not as much as I wanted it to,
right?
But I'm thinking I might need a couple more tubes to hang above it and run those down and see how that does. So we'll see.
Very nice, very nice. See, this is what we do for all of you, to give you a very aesthetic looking show. This is what YouTube does to us. It makes us, think about what does our background looks like, what everything looks like, and the lighting especially. It's like, who knew? I would have never thought I would have spent money on specialty lighting just for YouTube, but no, for real, it works really well even for artwork. So who's joining us in the chat today?
So far we have Tanner and Will.
Oh, hello.
I'm going to be posting links in the comments today because I did not get to the show notes yet.
Right. Okay. So Mike, and like I said, Mike Jimmy is usually posting links, but again, he's away selling comics in a castle in the
How cool
Netherlands.
is that?
So I mean, it's like, yeah, it's called Castle Fest, and if you look it up online, the thing is crazy. It's kind of like a combination comic book show, writers festival,
Renfest
Renaissance Fair, and Coachella all at one. All in one. I mean, it has a concert stage and everything. The thing looks insane. And I go, Europe, why are you so cool like that? You know? So I think that the closest that we came to going to a convention that was that cool was when a friend of ours started doing Eternal Con. He started putting together these shows, and it was inside a museum. And it was just like really cool. Like there was one, there's a photo on my Facebook where our table, I guess you can't see it from the angle, but like my table was literally across from a replica of the atom bomb that they dropped in Hiroshima. And I was just like, oh, well, this is awkward. But the thing is, I was like that was like part of like, oh, this is like really intense and cool and stuff like that, and I actually miss it. Unfortunately, he had to move. Like the show grew so large that he couldn't hold it in the museum anymore. But I kind of miss that atmosphere. There's something really creative about that atmosphere of holding a comic book convention in a place like that, as opposed to like, I don't know, like a regular convention center. I don't know. It adds to it. It makes it more fun. So I see you 6 people who are watching us from regions beyond. Thank you for showing. Thank you for showing up to watch our little show. And yes, and we will be discussing the topic for today, which is better for you, Kickstarter or Indiegogo. On our last vlog, on our last episode, our heroes had a question from the chat that we were more than happy to answer. If it wasn't, it's like, but we had an interview with Mark Torres. She said, why don't I keep confusing him with Mike Jimmy? Mark Torres on his book. And if you missed that, you can go check out the replay. And so we said that we would talk about, I guess our comparisons of the 2 platforms today. So which we are, but I just want to get through a couple of things. So do we have any housekeeping on your end to go through?
Yeah, I got a little bit to go through. I've got, don't forget, Sunrise Blossom 1 through 3. It's in the sign up phase right now over on Kickstarter, and also Roadkill Rampage is heating up and kicking ass over there.
I really like this image.
Me too. It's like really gory.
It's just
I love
very striking. It's like I always like it when it pops up.
I'm loving this one. It is live right now on Kickstarter, and so head over there and check them out. And that's it for right now.
Right. Okay. And you know what? And that's the thing too. I'll do this one. So just like if you have any questions or you want to talk, you want to hear us talk about something, a topic that you want us to touch on in the chat, yes, you can contact us. You can email us at raginabc@gmail.com. If you have a question, if you have a comment, or you have an idea for for a topic, or you want us to address something, just email us, and Nita will take care of that for you. And most likely we will talk about it on the show. It's like, why not, right? What are we here for, right? I have a mail call today.
Oh, well then let's see that.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, this is not a Kickstarter, but on one of the previous shows, and I know for a fact on one of my Wednesday streams, I was talking about a lot of like the furry books that I remember seeing when I was running around in fandom back in like the 90s. And realizing that a lot of these books that I remember reading, how many of them are not going to see reprints, or I'm probably never going to see reprints of them. because I don't know, for one reason or another. And I had ended up getting rid of a lot of my collection because I go, oh, they'll reprint it. I don't know why. I guess, that's the thing with being a self-publisher, right? It's like you're so used to doing things on your own and doing things a certain way that you think everybody thinks the same way. And I got rid of a lot of comics based on that idea. But it's like, oh, I'll pick up a trade paperback later, no, it's like, and what happened is like a lot of books that I remember reading literally fell to the wayside because there was no way I could get copies of them again. Well, that's what I thought. So on a previous stream, I was talking about an artist that I guess it's like you could say she was my literal introduction to, because we sat next to her at our very first conference out in California, and that's like Confer FUR-ENS. I think it was Conference 6 that was our first furry show, and we sat next to Roz Gibson, who if any of you know or don't know, she created a character named Jack Salem. And he's kind of like, and it was kind of like she was kind of like the Bret Easton Ellis of furry, pretty much. It's like it was a very nihilistic, dystopian setting, a story that she was writing about this furry character. I forgot what kind. I think he was like a Soat or a Martin or something, where he was a serial killer, and. And he was extremely popular in the fandom. Like I said, there are two things that are always guaranteed to have really strong fan bases: sex and violence, right?
Always.
So this was definitely in the violence part of it, and it was very popular. We even met a guy who, I guess he was kind of like the official cosplayer of Jack Salem. He had this beautiful fursuit made up, dressed up like Jack Salem and everything. And I was kind of lamenting how I had gotten rid of my original copies of these books because, I can get them in a trade later. I'm sure Roz will put them in a trade. And I never followed up on that. And I kind of was just assuming that because I'd never seen it. Yeah, I think so. It was something like that, right? Thank you.
The wise old fox has spoken.
Right. The gray muzzles are calling in today. They're representing. The gray muzzles are representing today. And someone had told me on the chat that, oh no, Roz Gibson just recently did a Kickstarter for a Jack Salem trade. And I go, where? And they sent me the link, and and it's like, and it seemed like I had, and that's the thing, she had done a trade paperback for recollecting the work that she had done back in the 80s and 90s, a couple of Jack Salem stories. And I had just missed the end of the campaign by a couple of days. I was so pissed. Like, the campaign was done. And I was like, how did I miss this? It's like it never came up in my feed or whatnot or whatever. But she did well for it. So I contacted her going, hey, Roz, it's like, can do you still have copies of can I still get these Jack Salem books? And she goes, absolutely. So I sent her what I wanted. She sent me an invoice. So I'm going to be getting those Jack Salem trade paperbacks soon. So I'm very happy with it. I'm trying to see if maybe we can get her on the show to talk about it. But, but we'll see. It's like,
I won't fangirl.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't.
I haven't seen her in years. And it's like, it's just, I was very young and stupid back in my fandom days, so I get a little embarrassed thinking about it because, like, I was kind of acting a way that maybe I shouldn't have back then.
In what way was that, Daphne?
I don't know. It's like, like I said, it's like, you get kind of young, stupid, and a little too enthusiastic, and you get wrapped up in drama and stuff. I forgot to ask, but that's okay. If she does or she doesn't, So I was talking to her because she had asked under what context the Jack Salem came up. And I told her, that's like, oh, yeah, it's about like all these collections. And I was especially talking to her about Xanadu and Vicky Wyman, who had recently passed, well, a couple of years ago. And I go, and it's like, yeah, and as far as I know, no one is going to do a Xanadu collection. And she goes, oh, if you talk to Ed Zollner, he still has copies of the original printings.
Shit.
And I go, for real, which is like really funny because Ed Zollner runs a furry distribution company called Second Ed. So if you go to seconded.com, I think it is, you can find his website. So, and what's funny is like I sell books to him all the time. I sell Tall Tales to him. I sell Eagle Raven to him. We sell Oswald to him. And it never occurred to me to actually look at his website. It's like I'm such an asshole. And so I went to his website. Yeah, I know. And I went to his website and he had the original printings of Xanadu. And I had lost my copies. I think I lost my copies in one of the great mouse plagues of the office. Like, look, it's like my office, this poor office has seen nothing but plagues. It's like it's seen a mouse plague, it's seen a flood, it's seen roaches, it's the whole thing. This poor office has seen everything. And I ended up losing some of my books to the mouse plague that happened. But he actually had copies of the original printings for sale. So of course I had to pick them up. So I got these yesterday. So for those of you not familiar, these are the OG printing from 90 something, I think. It's like, let me see. This is the first volume called Thief of Hearts. This is and let's see. This was printed December 1993.
Jesus.
1993. So, I mean, so this is kind of like.
What was his asking price?
The cover price back in 93 was $12.95. I think I paid $20.
You know how much they want for it right now on eBay?
What?
Low end?
What?
$92.59. I'm like, fuck you. I got you.
Right. Yeah, no. You can go to edzollner.com and pick up. He still has copies of the OG printing.
Here's one for $157.49.
Right. No, it's completely unnecessary. So here's some more of her artwork.
Jeez.
That's it's really like OG, furry. It's really like, I mean, like, this is the stuff that really got me into fandom. I mean, it's like actually, it's like, yeah, because it's like I got into fandom through fanzines. Those stapled, those black and white stapled Xeroxes, and then it's like I just ended up finding all these self-published books that it's like I don't even remember. Like some of them I remember seeing in comic book stores during the black and white boom or bust, depending on how you look at it.
I don't know. Wise Old Fox, it looks pretty white on screen.
Well, you see, this is the thing. This copy is still white. This one, I guess you don't notice it so much, but when I opened up the envelope, it's yellow. It's absolutely yellow. I mean, maybe you can notice it when I put both books together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, okay. Oh, what's ironic is that it's the first one that's whiter than I guess it depends on the type of paper that they printed on.
Right.
That there you can kind of see it like that. But no, I still don't. No, I'm kind of bad at that. I really am. It's like, look, all I want to do, like everybody else in this business, I just want to like just put my face on my drawing table and just draw, and just draw these comics, and that whole thing, that's all I want to do. But it's like only now. It's like I don't think. Look, I think I've only somewhat networked properly in only the last 2 years. when the whole lockdown forced me to have to go online to talk to people. So I was just like really excited to get these and just seeing the artwork again. I was just like, it's funny. I don't know if I'm sure nostalgia has a lot to do with it too. But the thing is though, to see some of the artwork that really, really inspired me in its original form is just really nice to see again. Just like I'm sure when I get Roz Gibson's work that I'll be like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is the art style that I really, really like. I mean, it's like it's just I don't know. It's a cartoony style, but it's still telling a story. Especially when you see Roz Gibson stuff, because especially how dark her stuff goes, but it's still a very cartoony style. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, there's just something about it that this is just what I prefer. So, and he had a whole bunch of other books too that I was
I'm looking. Okay. It's like insane.
Yeah, he has.
I'm like filling up this shopping cart right now.
Yeah. So, So if anybody is looking, right, exactly. So if anybody, I'm pretty sure you can put the link. Link in show notes, right? So if you're looking for some old school furry stuff, it's like Ed Zolna, seconded.com will pretty much have everything that you're looking for. I was very pleasantly surprised. I really did. Also not for nothing though, I kind of ended up hooking up with people I shouldn't have.
You ran with the wrong crowd, Daphne.
I think I did. That kind of like put off a lot of people. And I mean, but that's kind of like a more private story. It's like I don't want to name names or anything, but I mean, it was just, what it's like, because like now it's like, all the weirdos hang out. Hey, all the weirdos hang out on Twitter, and to kind of avoid people on Twitter.
And that's where your old crew's still at.
And it's like, and now it's like, back then though, there was no Twitter. It was just all the drama was in person. And I know that I had allowed myself to get very easily sucked in to drama at the time, and I know that probably wasn't a good look. So it kind of got in the way of networking a bit. But that's just me looking back. Because I don't know. It's I'm hoping I wasn't too terrible to anybody. I don't know.
Oh, the snobbery.
I know. Yeah, I know, really. So there you go. So if you want to get your old school furry on, Ed Zolna got the books for you.
I got 4 books ready to go.
Right. And the thing is, though, what's funny is that when I knew, this is more for Joe D, though, is that when I first knew Ed Zolna back in the day, he specialized in Giantess comics at the time. I don't know if he's still doing that or he still has a category for that. But yeah, it's like Giantess comics were they were a huge thing. See what I did there? Back then, that it's like that was like, it's like a whole genre that he specialized in. I don't know if he still does, but it's just that when I first saw Joe D's work, I go, oh, I know what that is. I've seen that before, So it was just, it was just really funny how, time really is a flat circle, and everything just comes around the way it does. So we're just hitting the half-hour mark. I know that we promised everybody a discussion about Kickstarter Indiegogo, which we are more than happy to do. So why don't we show some love if we have any more bumps there, and when we come back we will talk about we'll try to answer your questions about the two platforms. So stay tuned.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo-kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
Damn, we're back.
So, so like I said, it's like 82 degrees in the office right now. So I'm putting a fan on. I don't know if you can hear it. If it's too annoying, I'll turn it back off. But it's like I said, I just really am not a summer person. So like we said on our last show, on our last vlog, somebody had asked in the chat which we preferred, Indiegogo or Kickstarter. And, we figured that was a good question that we should answer, but we wanted to answer it when we had the time to really delve into it. So that's why we saved it for the Friday show. Hey, So for everybody who is thinking of doing a campaign, in our case, if you have a comic that you want to crowdfund or whatnot, you have a choice of several platforms. But the ones that are pretty much predominant on everybody's minds, like you have Kickstarter and you have Indiegogo.
Right.
And when we get asked which is better, right, here's the thing. The real answer to that is that it depends, And it's not that we're one over the other. There is no blind choosing which one. Because in the end, you have to choose the platform that's going to be best for you and your project. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there that it's like, whenever we're talking about stuff like this, we are talking from our experience, our personal experience with these things. Whether, if we talk about marketing, social media, crowdfunding, how to do comics or whatnot, everything we talk about is from our personal experience. We are not saying that this is absolutely how you have to do things, although sometimes it might sound like that, but that's just our personal preference pushing through. So take, listen to everything that we have to say and take what you need in the end. It's like what works for you, because
leave the rest.
Not everything is going to work for you, just like not everything works for us. Something that works that we've seen work for other people absolutely do not work for us, and vice versa. It's not, nothing is universal. There you go. It's like nothing is universal. Nothing is one size fits all. It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish, the audience that you have, and all that. So Nita, let's throw this. Let's start this with you. So, let's see. So when someone comes up to you, okay, which we did.
And what's the first question I ask them?
Yeah. What's the first question?
The very first question I ask you is, where are you strongest in social media? Is your strongest presence on Twitter, or is it on Facebook or other? Mm-hmm. If it's other, don't crowdfund. If it's Twitter, That would be Indiegogo, and if it is Facebook, I would refer you to Kickstarter.
So even the type of social media that you're strongest in might be an indicator as to which platform will be strongest for you. Now here's
absolutely.
So okay. So you say, so if you're strongest on Twitter, it's Indiegogo. If you're strongest on Facebook, then Kickstarter might be better for you. Now the thing is, okay, so what if, it's like they're just starting out. Here's the thing. They don't really have a social media presence. They're kind of building everything from ground zero.
Then Kickstarter for simplicity. And also, if you're just starting out, a lot of marketers have high profiles on Facebook. And so that'll help you along with Kickstarter as well. Indiegogo for me, has always, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking Indiegogo because I do back campaigns on Indiegogo quite frequently. While Kickstarter is personally my preferred platform, Indiegogo has a lot of perks to it too. However, Indiegogo seems to be a harder build. Like, you have to have a built-in audience ready for you there, whereas Kickstarter, you can come out the box and have more success, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Because in my experience, I use Kickstarter. I've always used Kickstarter. However, I have seen. So what is your strongest on Instagram? That's a good question.
Okay, I'm still gonna go with Kickstarter for that one too.
Because it's connected to Facebook?
Because it's connected to Facebook, and your Facebook audience is seeing your Instagram, whereas your Twitter, if you're sharing the feed, they have to second click to go over.
True. Yeah. So the thing is, I personally I've always used Kickstarter, but I have seen JD, who does the Oswald Chronicles and Tall Tales, I have seen him do Oswald's campaigns on Indiegogo, and it's night and day what we've seen. In our personal, like I said, it's like this is all based on what we've done. So like I said, for us, we use Kickstarter for the very reason that Nita was saying, that it just seems easier to build an audience on Kickstarter. Even if you're just starting out from the gate, if you have even the smallest audience, Kickstarter just makes it easier to build from that. So because it's like their algorithm is very, I don't want to say user friendly, but it's very easy. And I don't want to say manipulate either. It's just very easy to kind of get it to work in your favor if you can get certain parameters going for you.
Well, basically it's percentages of pledges. Really, it goes based off that. Once you hit 100%, every time you kick over 25, 50, back up to 75, and again to 100, every fucking time you hit a percentage with Kickstarter, you're getting that boost from the platform itself.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah, which is also why doing pre-launches is important too.
Right.
For Kickstarter. Because although, speaking of Indiegogo, this is where I start seeing some of the differences that I wish Kickstarter would allow that Indiegogo doesn't. So like we said, Indiegogo, you kind of need to have an established audience already to go on it, because that platform, from what we noticed, it does the algorithm. I don't know if there is an algorithm.
I don't know either.
Yeah, it's like it just like if you don't have an audience already finding you, you're gonna have a rough time. It's like, because where JD can make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on Kickstarter, he can barely make $500 on Indiegogo.
Right.
Which means that usually you don't have that. You don't have a crossover. Once somebody buys your stuff on Kickstarter, they're not going to go to Indiegogo to buy your stuff. And usually it's vice versa too. So you're talking about, you're building two very distinct audiences that very rarely cross over, and not enough to be significant to be worth concentrating on both.
Yeah, the only I've seen that work on Oh no, just a couple of people.
Right. Yeah.
Like Billy Tucci, he could do both.
Well,
and,
yeah,
and
exactly.
make bank on both.
Yeah.
You know, that's
right. Yeah. Like, I don't know if Brian Pulido uses Indiegogo. I don't think he bothers with Indiegogo at all. You know, it's like, but yeah. So it's like, I think for like the average person, you when you decide to commit to a platform, you have to commit to it. You can't really play both platforms off of each other because especially for Indiegogo, for me, in my experience, it's tougher to build an audience there. Usually, and usually the audience on Indiegogo, they're looking for very specific things. And if your book doesn't fit that criteria, they don't really pay much attention to it, even if you do cross their eyes. Where on Kickstarter, you're more likely to find people to experiment with your books, especially if you offer collectible versions. You know, like
that's question number 2. What's your genre?
Right.
Because if you say manga or furry,
yeah,
or even horror is wishy-washy. It could go either way, really.
Right.
But if you say manga or you have a furry lead, then you definitely want to be on Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like the audience is more open to those types of books. Or like I said, on Indiegogo, they're looking more for very, very specific things. And sometimes to the point of hyper specificity. So if you're really, so depending on your genre too, it depends on, it's like we would again kind of recommend you more towards Kickstarter. Because the thing is, like, there are certain things that Indiegogo does that Kickstarter doesn't do. Especially when it comes to pre-launches. So you can do pre-launches on both.
Right.
But what I like that Indiegogo does that Kickstarter doesn't is that it actually allows you access. From what I've heard, I haven't seen this myself, but I have heard people say this, that Indiegogo actually gives you a list of the people who pre-sign up for your campaign.
Well, it does. It says it's in your mailing list.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So they're building up your mailing list from there.
Yes.
They're doing like a combo. So you have direct access to the people who are they just want to be notified for your campaigns. So you can be really, really creative with your pre-launch for Indiegogo.
You also are given a whole page, whereas Kickstarter, you just get a card. On Indiegogo, you can scroll down. You're given a whole page to...
That's true. You can kind of put in like little details and more graphics or whatnot. You can kind of give like a real appetizer.
Video.
Yeah, you can kind of give a real appetizer for your campaign. Where on Kickstarter, it's just a card and it's like, and all you get is a number. That it's like, okay, X amount of people. Like in my case, I have 82 people signed up for the Eagle Raven Volume 1 campaign. But that's all I know, that there's 82 people. I don't know anything else.
And we love all 82 of you.
Right. And yes, and we do. And we do love all 82 of you. But percentage-wise, I know that not all 82 people are going to convert over. And for me to try to do that is a little bit more difficult. Now, we have our friend George with Wonder Duck. He actually killed it with his conversion rate. He had like up to 50% conversion, which is unheard of. If you can get 20% of people to convert over on that first day, you're very fortunate. And what he did was that he did this whole thing where if you signed up, if you hit the notify me button and emailed him saying that you're signed up for the pre-launch, he sent you a digital print. And
I'll get to that in just a second.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, because that's also something that Kickstarter doesn't do. But if you pledged to a physical tier on the campaign and told him that you did, then he will put a physical print. Like, it was just this whole thing that he did where it's like, where he got a really high conversion rate from that. So you hit the notify me button, you emailed him, he sent you a digital print. And if you backed his campaign on a physical tier, he gave you a physical print of that pre-launch print. So not only does that tell me, because it's like, honestly, if someone's going to go out of their way to email you, the likelihood is high that they are going to pledge to your campaign.
Right.
So I thought that was really, really smart on his part to do.
Absolutely.
And we're all stealing the idea, although I haven't. But I know I'm already seeing people,
We're sharing his wisdom with the world.
Exactly. Just like ours, we're sharing all the wisdom. Everybody, if it works for you, So this is the next question. Is it correct that Indiegogo never stops? I could get an order months after the campaign is done. So if you can clarify that.
Okay, so what that is after the campaign is done with its live, if you had a set goal or it's not a set goal, what is it, Daphne, where it has fixed goal, and you've met that goal, you're allowed to go in demand. You can stay in demand as long as you're willing to give Indiegogo a percentage. So you can run it basically like a store if you wanted to, which is another great option that Kickstarter should offer.
Right. Which, but the catch is that you have to make a certain amount of sales every month for that in demand to stay open. If you don't, they will automatically close that in demand down after, I think, like a month or something. So it is interesting to see them like, you have pretty much a store. Where on Kickstarter, the option they have for that is something called Backer Kit, which is a completely separate company that you have to kind of incorporate into your Kickstarter. I'm beginning to look into that right now, but I don't have any real information to share.
Pain in the ass, I'll tell you that.
So I don't know anything about that. I hear that the setup is kind of nightmarish, but once you have it set up, it's like you literally have a store after.
Talk to Rob.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, see what that is. Because I'm kind of wondering whether the pain in the ass part is listing all of your items. So it's actually tedium, not necessarily coding. So, because I can handle tedium. So I will, when I get more information.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Meredith and I tried to figure out Backer Kit for somebody, and it was like, yeah, you're on your own. Like,
yeah, because it's like, that's kind of like the way on Kickstarter. Yeah, like I said, that's what I keep hearing. That's a pain in the ass. But once you have it set up, it's like you have a store on your campaign. So once your campaign closes, people can still go in and buy it from Backer Kit. And it seems to give you a certain flexibility. But, where on Indiegogo, something like that is already incorporated into your campaign. Because I've done that plenty of times on Indiegogo, where a campaign was long finished, but I was finally able to buy the book, and I was able to just go into in demand and just buy it, and that's it. Let's see. So what else about Kickstarter?
The tiers. The way you can set up the tiers. Yeah. I much prefer Indiegogo because you're given the option to take individual pictures of what you are getting. So even though you scroll through this fucking sometimes 40 fucking clicks walls, you can just go over here and look, and it's simplified. Here's a picture, here's what you're paying for it, click it.
No, I much
prefer that. Much prefer that. Kickstarter really should utilize that.
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet, because also,
especially with their newly formed committee, their advisory council. What are you people advising? Y'all need to get to work.
Yeah, exactly. Changes. Because it's like that, because that I really like on Indiegogo, especially, and also when you go on in demand, when you see the add-ons and you see little pictures of what you're getting, as opposed to just looking at titles. So it's like so if they were to do that on Kickstarter, because right now on Kickstarter you have to put all that in the campaign.
Yes.
So that people can see, like, okay, what is it that I'm getting, and then you kind of have to cross-reference with the tiers. As opposed to, look, if I could get just to put the pictures on the tiers itself, on the reward levels itself, it would just shorten my campaigns. I think it would save people a lot of time and confusion.
Right.
as to what you can actually get in a reward level. So yeah, so for me, I'm hoping that they implement that soon. Also, the biggest issue, the biggest difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Indiegogo charges pledges
immediately
at the moment you make that pledge.
However,
that's a big one for everybody. Because like it's like with Indiegogo, you make a pledge, boom, you are charged for it. There is no waiting. There is no so you have to be sure what you want on Indiegogo when you make your pledge.
Oh yeah.
With Kickstarter, you only get charged after the campaign ends, which may sound like a good idea on the surface level, but depending on kind of like the bigger you get, the more nightmarish it actually becomes.
And why is that, Daphne?
Well, because what happens is that when you have 30 days or whatever, or 60 days or whatnot to decide whether you want to buy something or not, a lot of people kind of
flip-flop, change their minds, or just make asshole pledges.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like we've seen a lot of people who they make pledges, very, very large pledges at the beginning of the campaign. And then throughout the campaign, they're changing their pledges until right before the campaign ends, they completely drop altogether. And it's like, why'd you do that? Especially, and the thing is though, as creators, that's very frustrating to us. And it's like, and what's funny is that you only need one person to do it, because that's annoying enough. Because it's like, I've had people, they pledge to a $500 tier, and then like the second, I don't know, a launch party is over, you get off screen or something, they all of a sudden, it's like they you think you've made X amount of money, and then right after they change their pledge to like, $1 or $40, as opposed to the $500 they initially pledged, or they just drop completely.
That's another thing that the Kickstarter committee ought to be working on, is figuring out a way to resolve that. I think a good way is you lock them in. You lock them in like you do with Indiegogo. You don't have to charge them immediately, but they're locked into that amount.
Yeah.
And you can go up, but you can't go down.
I mean, it's because it's like that's the one thing that I really got to give Indiegogo. That's like, look, if you purchase something, that's what you're purchasing. That it's like none of this messing, because that's the thing too. When you have so many things on Kickstarter that you have bonus levels, you have your stretch goals, you have certain things that are dependent on reaching certain monetary goalposts. The last thing you need is somebody messing with that. It's like, this is what happened on my last campaign for Ego Raven. We made it to $6,000, which unlocked a short story that, because it was going to cost me money to add those extra pages into the books. So yeah, of course, I had to lock in. Exactly. Yeah.
Corey's seen it happen.
Yeah, it's like so it's like I was locked into that responsibility. I hit 6,000. I made the promise that the story would be in the book, and then what happened is that I had backers. I had their cards bounced. So along with the fees, I lost about $1,000 on my last campaign. So technically, I never made that goal, but I still printed the story anyway, because I promised it. So it's like, I'm not going to take it out on everybody who pledged and really were excited about getting this extra story. I'm not going to take it out on them because a couple of people decided to be assholes with their pledges. So, but the thing is though, is that that's a problem. It's like we all remember, was it Brian Sanderson, the author? Who like $40 million on Kickstarter, and someone was kind of doing the math on it, that the amount of dropped pledges, like if his percentage of dropped pledges were the same as the smaller people, he was going to like Brian Sanderson was going to lose about $10 million
right
just in dropped pledges. You know, and the thing is though, when you're making 40, that okay,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, right? But when you're making 40 million, but when I'm making $6,000 and I lose $1,000 in pledges,
big deal.
That hurts.
Yeah,
you know that's the thing. So that's something I think if there was like the biggest con to watch
Kickstarter, that would be it.
It's that.
And some people do it just to be trolls. Like there are backers. There is a list that marketers have behind the scenes of names. We literally have a list of people. If they'll get in there, your opening week, and they'll pledge your highest tier. And your final week, they drop you every time. Never fails.
Yeah, you see, and that's the thing too. We know who these people are that do it. That's the thing, you know. So, but here's also what I learned recently: Kickstarter is beta testing a block button.
Good.
They're finally beta testing it. So now it's just seeing when they roll that out for everybody. So it's like, so that might be a way to help mitigate this. Although honestly, I think that because what that does though,
I think locking in financial obligation would be better.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it takes that responsibility off of us.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, we're the ones, now the onus is on us to keep track of these assholes who are doing
because then what if you end up, okay, say somebody backed a higher tier and life happened, a kid needed surgery. For example, Rowan broke her fucking retainer again.
Right.
How much is that going to end up costing me and see? Or we're still going to back everything we've pledged for, but still, like, shit happens. You get that one-time backer that ends up backing out, and then you block them because you're pissed because they backed out and they were willing, they backed everything you've had before. Yeah, no, that should be on the platform.
I think that's the thing. It's like, I think that puts a little bit too much responsibility on us. You know, and where I think
follow they have a better way of following the pattern behavior than we do as individuals.
Right,
maybe,
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So as much as I wanted this button, it just opens up a whole new can of worms for us.
Right.
It just would have been easier if they just charged everybody up front. I mean, I swear to God. I mean, I don't know why it's that difficult for them to do that. So if there was anything to watch out for, it's that. However, as much as it has affected me, I think that for me, the benefits of Kickstarter outweighs the annoyance of those lost pledges.
And that's the ease of building the audience.
Right, exactly.
Like,
you
really.
know, that I think that, you know, that in the end, it's like, if that's kind of the worst I have to deal with, then it's like, yeah, because it's like, as much as, you know, like Indiegogo, oh, you get the money up front, it requires too much to get to that point. You know, you have to have your audience. It's like you have to have a foundation already to bring. You have to have a mailing list. You have to have like everything set up. That Indiegogo is the final goal, where with Kickstarter you can build from it. So for me, getting annoyed by people who drop their pledges or mess with my pledges, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, fine. You know, you don't count your chickens before they hatch. You know, it's like, don't count on money from Kickstarter until the end of the campaign. But the thing is, though, it's like, it's set up for you to worry about it. You know, I mean, it's like, okay, if I see a name from somebody who I know, you know, has a pattern of dropping pledges, then whatever number I see there, I have to mentally, you know, could be. I mean, yeah, maybe. You know, I mean, that I guess that's a chance too. That, yeah, because it's like, yeah, there are campaigns that don't fund, and then you have to Probably. I don't know what the logistics is
Happens
behind.
on Indiegogo too. They just refund.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know like how that works, but true. But it sounds logical.
Oh my God!
What?
Right.
I've had people Right. Yeah. For real. I mean, it's like I really do suspect that that's what happens, that they want to see you fund on stream. And it's like, and here's the thing too. It's like, and I've heard that a lot too, where people do those fake funds, because they actually think they're helping.
Well, some do. Some actually think they're helping by boosting the morale for the campaign or whatever, but some do it for selfish reasons, because the super backer title on Kickstarter is something that everybody strives to have. They can boast and brag, oh, look at me, I'm a super backer.
Right.
They can back that campaign, turn around and back out, and that pledge still shows towards their previous pledges.
Right. Yeah. Just like the final amount we raise still shows everything without the dropped pledges. So when you go look at a Kickstarter, it just shows you how much was raised during the campaign, not the final amount that was actually collected. So that's kind of annoying to me too. But yeah, it's like the whole, like, they think they're helping you. There was an incident where we kind of suspect somebody seeded a campaign just
that happens
to jump, just so that the algorithm can pick up on it and hopefully push it out. But then they pulled the pledge later. Like that was like the only reason they pledged, was to push the algorithm. But and the thing is, though, you're not helping us. All you're doing is adding to our neuroses. Where it's like us creators putting our stuff on Kickstarter, and this whole gamification of this crowdfunding platform.
They're both a pain, John.
They both are. Yeah, they really are. It makes us neurotic enough as is. And it's like, and it's like having to deal with people who think that they're being helpful, by making our pledges go like this throughout the. It's like, no, don't do that.
No, you're bouncing on a waterbed and we're nauseated.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like, chill with that excitement on the live stream. It's like, look, I would like to fund on that's always fun, but I would rather you pledge because you're serious about getting the book,
right?
That you want to read, because in the end, that's what's important to me. So I guess like I said, to sum it up, because we're just hitting the top of the hour, to sum it up, Kickstarter, Indiegogo,
pick your
real
poison.
Answer, it depends. Yeah, pick your poison. If you have the audience that will follow you to Indiegogo, then that might be the better
by all
place
means.
for you. But if you're just starting out and you're still trying to find your footing,
that's another show, Nick.
Oh, that could be a completely another show, because there's already 2 incidences of people crowdfunding on their own websites, but and both of them using very different approaches. And honestly, I think on people of our scale, that's not quite feasible for everybody. But I don't know. Also, to kind of add to the mix, BackerKit itself has created its own crowdfunding platform, because when I went to the website the other day to check them out, they were already running their own crowdfunders on there. So, and I know that, I know, right? And I know that one of the people that I'm referring to who are crowdfunding on their own website, that they're using BackerKit as a foundation for that. Well, so, cool. That could be a completely different conversation. But I'm sure there are people in the chat who have their own ideas about Indiegogo and Kickstarter and whatnot. But here's the thing, though. When you ask for this advice, and if all you're getting, I don't like one, I don't like the other, that's not a real answer.
No.
It's like, we're creators, we're making money off of this stuff. And it can't be about personal preference just because you think one is icky or one is, this I didn't like, it's like there has to be a real reason as to why one works over the other. Like I said, if you have the audience that will follow you wherever you go, then Indiegogo might be the better place for you. If you're just starting out, you're still finding your footing in all this, Kickstarter might be the place to do it.
And if you're just starting out and you don't have a big following from any platform, and you might want to go over to Twitter and start building yourself up if you have a superhero comic and head over to Indiegogo.
Right.
There's so many ifs. There's just...
Right, exactly. And it's like, what does your social media presence looks like? What does your mailing list? Do you have a mailing list? That's a whole thing. Do you have direct access to an audience where you can actually gauge this type of thing?
Right.
Because if you don't have an audience at all, that's going to make it, it's like your decisions, the decisions that you make it's going to be affected by that. So, I hope that, I hope that we were able to answer that question. If you want us to clarify certain things, please feel free to ask, and we will answer everything on the next show, because I know it's like hustle culture is real. There we go. ragin@abc@gmail.com. Hustle culture is real, and we need all the help we can get and all the clarity that we can get. And you know what? I'm just like, look, and I think like the biggest thing that could really help you is other creators, is helping other creators, and because we're all in this together. It's like if we can all thrive together, then it benefits everybody. It's like no man is an island unto himself type of thing. It's like it doesn't work that way, because we're not even getting into the whole trading links and trading campaigns and helping promoting other people and in exchange for them promoting you and blah blah. Like there's so many moving parts on doing crowdfunding and just trying to keep your head above water on this. So for now, this is what we got. So like I said, take what you need, leave what doesn't work for you, you're pretty sure doesn't relate to you. But the thing is, though, it's like, just, this is what we got. And we hope it was helpful on a certain level. So I just want to thank everybody joining us in the chat. I want to thank the 8 people who are watching us from Regions Beyond. Thank you for sticking with us for the entire hour. And I hope you got something out of this, or at least, maybe you just like listening to us ramble. I don't know, No, thank you, sir. Journey.
That would be like a 4-part special.
Yeah, I know that's a whole documentary series.
But we can work on that, Daphne.
Yeah, it's like that'd be something. I mean, it's like, like what does it take and all that. But that's a whole other thing. Thank you.
Flattery gets you everywhere, Nicholas.
Absolutely, Nicholas. Thank you. So on that note, Nita, any last words?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, because it's Friday. I'm sweaty and I still got stuff to do. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you on Monday for another episode of the Ragin'. So do we have anybody coming in on Monday, or what do we got for Monday?
What's Monday's date? The 8th?
I think. I don't know. I'm not staring at it. Nina. Oh, there you go. So Nina is coming. We're going to talk to her about Sunrise Blossom and her Kickstarter. I think she's on Kickstarter, right? So
yes,
because she's also done both. I think she's both done. So we can ask her what's the difference, what difference
and why.
And why. That's true. So there we go. So you can continue this conversation. So on that note, if you want to see more of my work, read more about me and my comics and whatnot, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. That's where my audience tends to be. If you are into seeing sketches and current work in progress and anything new that I come up with, I also do a twice weekly a stream exclusively to Facebook. It's just me working for an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:00 every day. It's just a music stream, and I'm just working. But I do watch the chats. If you want to drop in and say hi, I will acknowledge you. So check me out there as well. And you don't have to send a friend request. Just sign up. Just follow the page. All my posts are open, so you don't have to send a friend request because I suck at keeping up with those. So just giving everybody a heads up. Also on EcoWorks, you can read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, in its original black and white format. If you want to check out the series before you support it on the full color remastered versions on Kickstarter. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a Lord of the Rings type of adventure, you can head on over to the link at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And speaking of newsletters and mailing lists, sign up on either of these pages. It goes to the same link. You can sign up for my newsletter, where I've been sending up a weekly newsletter building up to the Eagle Raven Volume 1 campaign, where you can also download. I give you $40 worth of free comic PDFs to try out. Try out Tall Tales, try out Eagle Raven, try out the Oswald Chronicles, just for signing up and reading our newsletter. You know, it's like you can unsubscribe at any time, but you know, I hope that you stick around. So and always remember to like, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever it is you need to do to keep the algorithm gods happy here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever any new shows goes live on the Ragin network, which I also simulcast through, so you also get those as well. So on that note, in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, and especially in this heat, definitely hydrate. Definitely drink a lot of water, because it's killing me here. You know, mind your business and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake your accomplishments. We'll see you next time.
Bye.